Good afternoon, welcome. Join us to stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes for May 5th, May 19th, November 17th, and December the 1st, 2015. Somebody's been busy.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Payroll, January 11th, 2016.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. Out there, though.
Motion carries. Approval of claims for January 7th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Board appointments to the Redevelopment Commission. This is one we held off on from the last time. I'll nominate Dave Burris and Rick Fratasha, the current serving members.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. An ordinance establishing a fund for the deposit proceeds from the Indiana State Department of Health immunization grant to the Porter County Health Department. Dave Hollenbeck. Not seeing Dave Hollenbeck, we'll turn to our first meeting, County Attorney, and you can tell us what else you got.
This is an ordinance that would allow a fund to be established, so when we get the proceeds from the State Department of Health, that we can put those proceeds into this fund that doesn't revert, and the fund would remain intact with whatever deposits come in, and it not get intermingled in other funds or revert to the general fund or anything like that. So this is in good form and order, and I would recommend that you approve it.
Good. Any questions? And thank you, and again, welcome to your new role.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
A motion
Second.
and a second to create an ordinance establishing a fund for the deposit of proceeds from the United States Department of Health immunization grant. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now I got an ordinance for Porter County, Indiana, Title 14 of the Porter County Code. You want to tell us about that one, Scott? Or did I skip one?
You skipped one.
No, I'll come back.
Okay. Basically, this ordinance would kind of goes in hand with the Stormwater Management Board. This is, the purpose of this ordinance revision is to reorganize the Plan Commission office to allow for one point of contact for permitting, business and development, inspection, code enforcement, economic development, redevelopment, stormwater management. It puts it all under basically one office. The new system would basically have the department serving stormwater advisory, drainage board, plan commission, development review committee, board of zoning appeals, and the redevelopment commission. I've reviewed this, and I would recommend it's in good form and order.
Questions? Statements? Motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now an ordinance creating a stormwater management program and a stormwater management board.
So this ordinance is a revision to our previous, where we adopted the Stormwater Management Board. This basically is doing two things. One is that White Oak Conservancy District, after the passage of our original ordinance, had gone back and done the necessary court procedures to remove themselves from the responsibility of flood control and improving drainage. So they are now, again, part of our overall area that we are responsible for. And then also, as a part of this amendment, would be to put together the Stormwater Advisory Board. We're looking at a board here that would have 7 members, and one would be from the Board of Commissioners, one from the County Council, and there would be 3 one citizen member appointed by the Board of Commissioners from each of the 3 districts, 2 at large, and the surveyor would also be on that board as well. Again, those are the 2 things that the amendment's taking care of, and I think it's in good form and recommend it.
I'll make the motion to approve the changes to the stormwater management.
Motion,
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. Mike Anton and Lee Westergreen, Anton Insurance, a letter confirming,
I think that one's off.
that was gone.
Well, there's just a couple of contractual issues, Commissioners, that we want to pass by. First, that we had forwarded to you for your approval, a short-term, kind of single case agreement with extension with the Franciscan Alliance to include the Lafayette facility. We ask that you approve that under the basic same terms. And that's a one-time thing because Lafayette represents a different district, and we're talking to the Franciscan Alliance about extending services to that district, the same as we have in Porter County, because we became aware of the Purdue issue, that we have students there, and so we need to continue that discount. But this is the one that we're dealing with right presently, and we'll continue to negotiate to extend that contract on a permanent basis. So we ask for your approval on that.
You reviewed that, Scott? Have you reviewed it, Billy?
Kathy, is that the one that we took off the agenda?
No, that was the other one that we took off. The other one was the amendment.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I have reviewed it, and it's in good form.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second for a letter confirming a mutual one-time agreement between Payer and Franciscan St. Elizabeth Alliance. St. Elizabeth Health, I'm sorry. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we're going to do Netico letters of agreement with Value Health and Community Health System.
Yeah, look, we forwarded to you a draft of an agreement, I think, Scott, you...
I have that, yes.
And what I would ask for today is that you just accept that in concept as it's presented there, because that was kind of an unfinished draft. There were some adjustments to be made in terms of final wording, but Netico just wants to have your approval of them proceeding on that basis with that contract. So they don't want to, they don't want to finalize the deal and then have the Board of Commissioners come back and say, well, wait a minute, this isn't what we thought. So we're just asking for your permission to continue with that negotiation and finalize it. We would bring that final contract back for approval.
Okay. Questions? Or a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the letter of agreement with the Netico Value Health and Community Health Systems. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And presentation of a summary plan document.
And I'll turn that over to
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Wilson.
Commissioners, you have a copy of the summary plan description, the SPD, which BAS took over and redid for the county. We had them make some changes to the way that the SPD reads insofar as out-of-pocket max. It was a little... It needed some clarification, improvements over the original, or not the original, but the expiring SPD we held with our former TPA. We have gone through this with a fine-tooth comb, and it looks to be in good order, nice and compliant. So we ask that you approve the SPD, which then we will send it to print and distribute to each of the employees.
Questions, additions, deletions, corrections, motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, just for your general consumption at this time, on March 1st, the IU Health physicians will be leaving the PHCS network. We've asked BAS to run a disruption report, and we have 26 members who currently use IU Health physicians. We're in conversations right now with BAS as to whether we can offer those people the possibility of switching from the PHCS PPO to the First Health PPO, which would then allow them to have access to those providers. The dollar disruption by doing this is about $360,000. Those would be the discounts that we've been receiving by those providers being in the IU, being in the PHCS network. So should those people continue to use those physicians, then not only will they pay more, but the county would be negatively affected. So we're looking for a solution to this situation.
I'm hoping that someplace down the road that this comes together, because Community Health Systems, who owns Porter Regional Hospital, recently purchased IU Health, is my understanding.
Are they in the
I talked to
process?
CEO Steve Lund about that particular arrangement, thinking that we cut short some of this conversation. It was just a matter of a couple of months and they were going to finalize the deal. But as it turns out, it appears that Community Health Systems is only going to purchase roughly 70% of that organization, and IU Health will retain 30% or thereabouts, however they finalize it. It won't come together probably until June at the earliest, and it'll be a separate entity in effect. So he's just suggesting that we hold still for the time being, and then once they finalize the deal, that he'll facilitate arrangements to contact that entity as however it's created, and we'll have to negotiate a separate deal.
Okay. Well, that's been the kind of way it's been going all the way along, but I think that, I know it's created a lot more work for you and for your office and staff, but truthfully, I think the county's enjoyed about close to a $3 million savings over the past year in the reduction of our healthcare costs because of it. So.
Yeah, and I thank you for that kind comment. I would also say that IMEDICO is working diligently on these issues. They got Porter County on the forefront of their radar screen, and we're constantly in communications about these contracts, and hopefully, obviously, as we go forward, we want this to kind of settle down and just operate, not be coming back here every 2 weeks to present a new set of terms on a, particular deal, so.
Unless you really enjoy that, and then we'll continue doing so for the remainder of the year.
We really enjoy saving money. That's what we enjoy. As long as you can keep doing that, come back as often as you want.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much. Mike Jabo, DLZ Indiana, RFQs for the new animal shelter design build project. I don't see Mike, so I think Jeff... Oh, there he is. He is here.
He's here.
David, you're done. Get out of here.
First reading, or did you do it both?
No, we just did one, so, yeah. Second.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, Michael?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'll preface it, unless Commissioner Good would like to address. We did have a technical review committee meeting. We did receive 3 proposals or qualifications, and the committee met. Maybe I'll let Commissioner Good, since he's on the committee, make reference to that as an update.
Thank you, Mike. The Technical Review Committee met yesterday regarding the RFQ proposals for the animal shelter. We ended up with a total of 3 responses for the RFQ. Once we then took the RFQs internally, we met, and what was done at that meeting, which was over about 3 hours, was we go down and we have a tiering rating system for each company that put in for the proposal. And out of that rating, each individual member of the Technical Services Committee, which is myself and 2 other gentlemen, we rated each team that came in for the qualifications. Out of the 3 teams, the final numbers. And what I'm going to do is read averages between the 3, because they're scored independently by each 3 people, but then they're combined as an average. So the number one score, number one rank, I should say, was Larson Danielson Construction Company with an average score of 276.67 out of 300. Number two was Garriott and M2KE Design, so they're coming in as a team. Their average score was 246.67. And then the third was Core, Epic Architects, Millie's engineering firm, and Avon March, which is a civil. That's a four-member team, or four-company team coming in. Their average score was 207.3. So they're the third ranking. Based on those three rankings and based on how we moved forward with this, it was always the intent of the group to get down to three people to move to the next process, which is the RFP process, request for proposals. So we have our three rankings. I think we have our three members to take this to the next competitive bidders, to take it to the next level. And we will now begin through the Technical Services Committee to start moving towards putting our program together for the RFP process. And what that means is that we'll be writing up a program that basically says what the building needs to house, what the nuts and bolts of the buildings are, the type of services, the rooms, all the things that go into an animal shelter. It will be written into a program. That program will then be solicited to these three candidates that we just talked about, and then what they will do is put together their best design budget process and present to the Technical Review Committee their best foot forward for the design concept and pricing of the animal shelter. So step one is completed. We now move to step two. There's a lot of time, there's a lot of meetings that are going on at this, but I really truly feel that we're moving in the right direction. I felt very confident with all three qualification rankings of three companies. They're all very capable, they're all very well thought of in the area, and so we feel that we're off to the good start, that we really have three very good players who want to put a good animal shelter forward and obviously do it in the most cost-effective way for the county as well, too. So it's a little bit longer process than what takes normally, but I also think out of this, we're going to get a good design, and I think we're also going to be able to have a really good competitive environment, too, so we can get this shelter done for the best price possible. So I also know that Commissioner Blaney has assembled a group together with various stakeholders, and she's meeting with them on a similar track from an input standpoint, and I would now turn it over to Commissioner Blaney to give that update. So, a lot of meetings.
Yeah, the advisory committee also met last week, and we just kind of had introductions, and Stephen Kronkowski came and explained the process, sort of like what Jeff just did here, to all of the various groups. We have a rescue group represented, the council, the fair board, the expo, the shelter, so various groups like that, just there to give input so we don't step on any toes or duplicate services or forget something important in our new shelter. And in that group, we also have a veterinarian. We have a smaller group within that group that's going to help us really determine what things need to be in the shelter. That, of course, includes our shelter director, Tony, back there. So it went really well.
Just for anybody who's following, we do have a timeline that we put together, so we're trying to hold to these dates as best as we can. The next update or the next plan of action for the Technical Review Committee we are looking to issue the request for proposals to the design builders on February 17th, then followed up with an April 7th date to when those RFP people will have to submit to us by, their proposals. So February 17th, it goes out, April 7th, it comes back. So that's our next bogeys, those are our next targets that we have, and that's what the committee and everybody's working towards. So that'll give you a little bit more foresight into where we're going. Thank you.
Very good.
And then we also, at our meetings, we've talked about things that the county can do to help expedite and smooth the process that we're exploring as well.
Yeah, very good. I think it's moving along very nicely.
It is.
And we should note that our new facilities director, Matt, is in the process of getting the existing buildings out of the way at the Expo Center so that construction can begin as soon as possible at the site. It's all coming together. So.
Yes, it is. Good job.
Anybody else have anything to add? Mike, anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for the update.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep, thank you.
One thing before you go, Mike. We have discussed several times the intersection by your house at 700 North and Meridian.
700 North Meridian.
We've had renewed interest there again.
Yes.
And I thought we're going to put up a flashing light. Is that what?
It'll be a flashing light, yellow for Meridian, red for 700 North. And we worked with the Ray Riddell from County Highway Engineer, and we took a look at some of the crash data. And having lived in that area, what I noticed, the intersection is quite dark. There is no dusk to dawn lighting of any kind out there. So we will put in as an optional item in the design, maybe on the opposite corners, maybe some roadway luminaires to light the intersection as well. The issue has been, first, with the right-of-way, we had to go back to the commissioner records in the 1800s to find out you indeed did own the right-of-way. The GIS shows it all described as the center of the road. So we did find commissioner records for both roadways eventually that shows you do have the right-of-way there, because we did not want to put it off onto private property. The thing we're working with now is working through the utilities. There's a pipeline that crosses the intersection diagonally. So maybe a national-type company that owns a pipeline, plus if you look up, there's a lot of wires overhead. So we're trying to get a design so everybody doesn't have to move all their utilities and we can squeeze it in there. So it requires coordination with the utilities, but we're looking forward to that you would, this could be done by the quote process because it is relatively inexpensive. And we hope to have those in your meeting, say, in March.
Great. Very good.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
One little housekeeping thing, we talked about the ordinance creating the stormwater management program and the advisory board. We're going to take applications for the advisory board portion, and we'd like to make those selections, if we could, at our next meeting, which is February the 2nd. So anyone interested in serving on that body, again, to reiterate what the council said, there will be 3 citizens appointment according to the commissioners' districts, 3 at-large appointments, council will have an appointment, and the commissioners will have an appointment.
2 at-large.
2 at-large, I'm sorry. And they'll be based on a staggering term basis so that the whole board's not going to leave at once, so.
Yeah, I just would like to preface that, John's comments, as though anybody that is interested in doing this, I know from my perspective, I'm going to be looking at skill sets, I'm going to be looking at understanding drainage. I do not want this to turn into a bunch of political appointments. So for me, skill sets are going to be very important. We're tasked with very important things here to do. We got a lot of heavy lifting to do in the first several months, and I want to make sure that we get very qualified people who are willing to put in the time and the effort, because this is going to take some heavy lifting in the first several years, and we need to have those type of people on board. So I'm not trying to deter anybody from doing it, but on the other hand, I just want it to be stated in the record that we want some folks in here that really have the county's best interest at heart and can really take this thing and move it forward, because this is a big journey we're taking off into. So I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you, John.
Thank you for that. It is called an advisory board, and we very much need the advice, but we want the advice of people that know what they're advising us about, so, there you have it. Let's say the 29th, the 29th of this month would be the deadline for applications if you're interested in that body, so. Okay, we have a contract for animal shelter control with the Animal Shelter Service, for animal shelter services between Porter County, Indiana, and Beverly Shores, Indiana. Scott, I think this is one of the ones that typically go out to the municipalities, and they've agreed, and then now it's come back to us for acceptance, is that?
That's correct.
Okay.
This is the last one, right?
Well,
Almost.
you know, I guess I got kind of called on the carpet about these contracts the other day because I was told we never offered one to the city of Portage. But I was also told before that the city of Portage wasn't interested in it. So if it's not too much work, could we figure out what the contract for the city of Portage would cost them and make it available to them once the new shelter is open so that they're not in the dark and we can say we've offered them to everyone that way?
No problem.
Okay. So, I need a motion to accept the contract between Porter County and Beverly Shores.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Investment consulting agreement between Porter County, Indiana, and Capital Cities LLC. Scott?
Yes, this is the follow-up, this is the actual contract between the commissioners and the council and Capital Cities for the consulting that they've been doing with us so far. We held off to do this at the beginning of the year because we could have maybe done it in November, but then we didn't want to get into the whole November, December, et cetera problem. So I reviewed this and actually was part of drafting it, so it's in good form and order. Again, it's pursuant to the RFP that they produced. It's for the flat rate of $65,000 for the year.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Questions? Concerns? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Office holders and department heads. Sunday Hume, Voters Registration, Ellis System Corporation, Equipment Service Agreement. There she is. Hi, Sunday. Hiding back there.
Yep.
So tell us about Ellis Systems Corporation and what they do.
Ellis Systems is it's like a Rolodex system that we hold all of the master voter registrations in, and it basically just, of course, like a Rolodex, circles around, so we have room for everybody's master voter registration card. And what that is, it's our annual maintenance contract that we have with them every year.
Wouldn't it be easier to put that on computer?
Would be, but we have to keep them, unfortunately. Yes, that would be great.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Motion? And a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Sunday.
Yep.
Ray Riddell, Porter County Highway Director of Engineering, LPA consulting contract between Porter County Board of Commissioners and DLZ of Indiana. Good afternoon. All right, this is a agreement for the Highway Department to use DLZ in its engineering capacity.
That's correct. It's for site distance and intersection improvements at various locations on County Road 100 South from 2,000 feet west of 725 west to 1,500 feet east of County Road 500 west.
And the site requirements are our requirements, I mean, the distance requirements are our requirements, or the federal?
We are using federal monies, so we will have to meet the state's requirements for site distance.
To stay within those boundaries. I got it. Questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second for LPA consulting contract between Porter County Board of Commissioners and DLZ of Indiana. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Porter County Auditor Vicki Urbani. Hey, Vicki. RDS contract, employee
I don't think
1095C.
they're done yet.
Oh, we're not done?
We did have some good news to add to that. We went to NERC and were able to preliminarily received an additional $900,000 for this project.
Oh, great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, on our side. And it still has to stay within those parameters, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Great.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Jeff.
thank
Great.
you.
Thank you, Mike.
Hi, Vicki.
Hello.
RDS contract, Peterson Consulting Services, fixed assets.
The RDS contract stems from the new Affordable Care Act. This is a requirement of all applicable large employers that involves preparing the 1094 and 1095C information. And similar to the W-2s, employees will be able to access the 1095 forms summarizing their health insurance online. This proposal is a software proposal that will allow us to populate those forms and allow the employees access.
Questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second for the RDS contract. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. And then Peterson Consulting Services, Inc., fixed asset annual report.
This is a proposal that you have approved for a number of years. This is for the fixed asset report that's integrated with our annual report that we prepare. This is a CPA firm that prepares a GASB-compliant fixed asset financial statement complete with depreciation schedules. Largely, they work with the Highway Department, and but there's other county fixed assets that will appear on this report.
If memory serves me, I think they're about one of the only two in Indiana that do this type of thing.
Really true.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second for the Peterson Consulting Services contract. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Vicki.
you.
Juvenile Center, agreement between the Porter County Board of Commissioners and the Board of Commissioners of Jasper County.
Aye.
So this is to keep their wayward sons, eh?
The Wayward Sons contract that we do, as you note, each year. One change that I would bring to your attention is on page 4. Last year we held for 100 beds, and this year they've asked for 200 beds.
Okay, is that going to be a problem for you?
Not at all.
Okay. Okay, and the price per day that they're paying?
$110.
And that hasn't changed in a few years, has it?
No, it hasn't.
Questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second for the agreement between this board and the Board of Commissioners of Jasper County for the juvenile center juvenile centers holding their wayward sons. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Annetta Jones, Purdue Extension Director, amendment number 1, attachment A, extension contractual services agreement between Purdue University and Porter County government.
I'm Joan Grott here on Ned's behalf today. I can do my best to answer any questions.
Okay, just tell us what the amendment involves.
It's our annual service agreement between Purdue University's Extension Service and the county. I understand there's been no changes and the amount has been budgeted already.
I'll make the motion to accept the contract.
Second.
Motion and a second for amendment number 1, attachment A for the extension contractual service agreement. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Clancy, Porter County Treasurer.
That's crossed off.
Oh, I see. Report from Commissioners.
First thing is all districts.
Okay, why don't you do that?
the Porter County Engineering Department collected a grand total of $157,063.20 in 2015 from miscellaneous permits, $47,300, and road agreements, $101,063.20. This is an increase of $7,156.80 from 2014.
Very good.
Not really a...
North District has one supplemental agreement number 1 in the amount of $13,900 by and between Porter County and Beam Longset and Neff LLC to provide professional engineering service for the construction observation for Porter County replacement bridge number 156 Porter Avenue over Coffee Creek. I recommend approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And by the way, that is a beautiful bridge. That is really a nice, it's an addition to the town. It's wide, it's spacious. It really is a nice bridge. Yeah. Okay, where are we at here? Correspondence? We have on file the 2015 Porter County Highway year-end report. We also have the treasurer's monthly report for December 2015. Okay, did I miss anything? Okay, anyone wish to address this body? Anybody? Anybody wish to address this body? We stand in recess.